Hello everyone and welcome to my first episode of F1 2017 Career Mode, and as you can plainly see right here, right now, we're in the Force India. Simply because it's a good midfield team where you've got chances to make things happen, you know. Mercedes engine is going to be good and racy in a straight line, and most of all, it's going to be an interesting challenge to try and make the team a front-running team rather than merely one of the midfield pretenders trying to get to the front. And plus, let's be honest, it's the Pink Panther. You got to go in there, haven't you? Look at it. It's a great looking car. But anyway, we shall move on to practice. By the way, I've skipped out the discussing on every YouTuber's channel. I've decided instead to get to business.
Okay, here's something to remember about this circuit. The most important braking zone is probably the penultimate corner, T15. It's a very tight left-hander. You will understeer if you take liberties with it, so be careful. Okay, the track is green right now, so take a few laps to get the tyres up to temperature. Try and feel your way around.
Those patronising clips of Jeff still in the game. Some of them have been on for a couple of years now, ever since the change to current generation consoles. There you go. Anyway, so this is a track acclimatization lap.
DRS zone is coming up. Get ready to open it. Distances on your MFD.
Jeff again with his slightly annoying advice, but it'd be very good if you're beginners, so I do understand and very appreciate that. But anyway, track acclimatization, if you played F1 2016, then it is very similar. If you haven't, well, basically, it's just about getting around the track, knowing where it's going, etc. And if you're relatively decent, you get greens. If you're going around quite rapidly and smartly and smoothly and cleanly, then you get some nice good old purples. And the objective is for the R&D, try and chain up a very, very, very good lap, which is majority purple and gets you the resource points. And it's like the test is like DRS activation and whatnot. As you can see, it was being quite ginger on my lap, just simply because, you know, it's not the it's not the easiest been trying to contain these 2017 beasts, but I must say they're much easier than 2016 cars on the game, because you could do on the pad the same thing twice in a row and you'd get two completely different answers. I felt it was very hard to beat the 2016 game really on the pad, but yeah, it was the first lap I'd done in this car, so I was just trying to get a feeler, you know, just so I know what I was doing. But anyway, as you can clearly see, we've had quite a smooth and undramatic lap. This was straight out of the box as well, so it was quite lovely to see that we squeaked to purple.
This circuit. This is a really strong foundation to build from over the weekend.
The encouragement from Jeff there. Anyway, I won't bore you with the tyre wear test. I think that's quite obvious what you've got to do. Beat the delta and try and produce a lap with low tyre wear, and we managed to do that straight away.
Box this lap so we can analyse the data. Box this lap.
Unlike last year, at the tyre wear test, you just have to produce one lap, which you get some good old tyre saving done. And it's the same with the fuel, although that being a new feature this year. I mean, you can cheese it a little by short shifting, lifting and coasting, etc. But, you know, all of these are kind of cheesed. Anyway, we move on to the qualifying simulation program. And, you know, we had a pretty good lap there as well. I think reading the delta were like 4-ish temps up. It's hard to tell on this previous screen that I've got.
Okay, then that's the end of the program and plenty of useful data. Return to base when you can so we can go over it.
But even a wow lap, we managed to go to places quicker. Then, as you explained, my direct difficulties on 101. Going to be introduced now to the resource points. I should just explain that everyone's seen that cutscene of Chris. So I won't be playing that. But anyway, we shall rattle through what we managed to get in terms of resource points for practice. And, you know, it was quite promising, you know. Quite a lot of points there. And, of course, the big fat bonus to that Force India initially allocated. So I bought a couple of competencies, I believe. I decided to develop the front downforce. I tried to develop the rear. It's like, ooh, I haven't got quite the capacity for that. That I will have to develop through this career mode, but never mind. So I ended up having a prize round, as you will see. I think I've actually cloned for something in the powertrain department. If I'm not mistaken, that's the ignition system, which is part of the internal combustion engine, as I was faffing around at the time. I really should have edited that. How professional me. I'm very, 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 very sorry, but never mind. As you can see with the Mercedes power unit, we're clearly top of the trend. As you can clearly see, the Mercedes power unit's the best, and it's the Ferrari 17 unit, then it's the Renault unit, then the Ferrari 16 unit, and then McLaren Honda. Oh, that Honda engine. You can see why Fernando wants to leave and probably will leave. But anyway, Well, we did the rest trajectory program in FP2 as the sun started to set, and well, yes.
Great data. Stay focused.
In fact, everything was going pretty swimmingly there. We decided to do more get more data for more laps, just simply for more optimization, to see what the strategy will do for us. But yeah, it was a relatively smooth session. There wasn't really much to say there, and as you can see there, the tyre wear was slightly better than expected, but the times were very, 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 very solid.
This morning. Everyone's talking about this new rival you have. Check his stats out.
I don't think the rivalry feature is a little bit boring. 16 and 17. It introduces you to your teammate, as you will see here, and then it's just constant rivalry, and it feels a little bit false. But nevertheless, it's quite interesting to see how you fare up against your teammate. So I'm not going to really mock that one. We've got my first up against Asafan Ocon, who's our teammate. I call him the future because I think this guy's a genuinely special talent.
Hi, it's Emma. Your qualifying goals came up in the board meeting this morning. Here's what to expect.
And we're expected to beat him. We're expected to qualify 9th, thanks to our good qualifying simulation.
To Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly.
Yes, anyway, it's time for qualifying, as you can clearly see right there.
I want to talk briefly about the strategy in these qualifying sessions. Anthony Davidson, how can a driver adjust their approach to gain those critical extra tenths of a second?
Well, qualifying isn't about adjusting your approach necessarily. It's more about trying to repeat a low fuel run that you've practiced prior to this session. You're looking for perfection on the lap, and that's hard to achieve if you're trying something new. There are some variables that can stand in your way, however. Track position or unexpected yellow flags, for example. Coupled with ever-changing track conditions, it's important to be out there at the right moment. But as a driver, you have to try and ignore these distractions and just keep your mind focused on that one perfect lap.
Anyway, yes, those sort of intros haven't really changed year to year. There's slight differences for year on. Anyway, I took the harder tyre allocation, so I believe on there, for qualifying the race, you get 2 primes, 2 options and 3 qualies. The third quali being the nominated set for Q3, but anyway, because of this, we could all do run in Q1, Q2, and if we got there Q3 respectively, on fresh tyres. So in Q1, I've just decided, you know what, I'm going to have to try and nail a lap up towards the end of the session. And we weren't too that far apart. I think in the first 2 sectors alone, we're about a second off, if I remember rightly. Or 6 tenths, I can't remember what. I do apologise. Didn't have the greatest of laps, but it was tidy enough and neat enough and fast enough, most importantly, to give us a chance of Q2. Do we get there? Yes! We managed to make it into Q2. Just about. And we will skip straight there again, just 1 lap, and they could be our nominated first set of race tyres. If we make it into Q3, we go a little bit wide there at the anti-penultimate corner, now into the penultimate corner, which by the way is one of my weakest corners of the F1 corner. I can just never get the braking point right for that corner. Anyways, we come out of the final turn. Will we make it into Q3 after narrowly escaping Q1? You know what? We do, strangely enough. And we made 8th place. Anyway, into Q3, it got cloudy. Will the qualifying cloud help us? Well, it certainly helps Bottas and then Vettel. But what can it do for us? We go P...
We're very happy with our position. Well done.
7. And Jeff giving us some word of encouragement there, which was quite nice of him. Yeah.
As we wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top 3. Vettel, Bottas and Max Verstappen.
Okay, so that's how qualifying went. And the rivalry this year, sector times are considered, which is quite a good thing because the lap times were overpowered in the rivalry last year, as you'll see in other YouTubers' career modes. But nevertheless, 2-0, I'll take it. And I'm standing getting slightly better with the team. Hassan in particular seems to be impressed by that performance for some reason, but whatever, that's their prerogative.
Hi, guess who? I've seen the team's expectations for the race, so I thought I'd pass them on and wish you luck. Take care.
So yes, okay, so there we've got to come 9th in the race and try and target 9th in the championship overall. So, is it going to be easy? Anyway, it's the race. What can we do in this race? That's a great lineup. Will be in the front of victory, or will it be down squib as we got to 5 lights? And we are going Australia. And our initial launch wasn't so bad, but then when we turned onto the wetter part of the track off the racing line, we got a lot of wheel spin and a lot of Stroll, who had a very good start to jump us. But we're going to go into turn 1 and take him and Raikkonen like they weren't there.
That's a strong start. Well done.
After I've said that's a strong start, we're up to P6. So I was going well in our world, having gained 1 position net off the line. As we now heading towards turn 3. I want to ease up to Massa and push him out the way. We're up into P5 already. I see Sterling stuff. If you don't agree, then well, what can I do? Anyways, we're towards the end of sector 1, and we've gained a couple of positions where the team's not expecting us to be ninth, so that's quite good actually for us. As you can see, initially I was struggling. I was driving a bit like a pig in the first lap, if I'm brutally honest with you. I've not driven a heavy rain weather, or heavy rain, whatever you want to call it, as I'll show you there. Yeah. I was just like, hey, what do we do? Oh yeah, Massa giving us a nice love tap and bump draft from the side. Seems like a side pod glitch there, but as I could him to think it's turn 11, 12. I could be mistaken on corner names, by the way, so do forgive me. But no, we seemed quite okay in this lap there. We were being slow, but we were able to keep our rivals behind us so far, as you can see here. I've got to say that it was very difficult early on. It was just excruciatingly hard to keep the car on the island, but it got easy after a couple of laps, if I'm honest, as you shall see. See Fish turning out the ultimate corner as I head through the last corner. Oh, getting a bit there, tank slap on early in the corner, but must hold it. Piers Meadows in the lead as he's got the fastest lap at the end of the first lap rather than the last lap as he used to do back in day. Anyways, we head down towards turn 1. All seems to be well in our world, so that's all good and dandy for us. And I believe now we're going to cut towards the end of the middle of the second lap, coming towards the end. Yeah, tires were too hot, which was I found quite interesting because I never really had that in F1 2016 in the hot weather.
In front is 4.4 seconds, so the gap to our teammate is 6.1 seconds.
Can't go any twist there, but as we fishtail out of the second corner, getting lap 4, I think we just seemed to be going alright. We were pulling away from Massa, Vams are drifting away from us. There isn't really a lot to say about that, but I decided on lap 5 to have a push lap as we go through Federal Sector 1 and Sector 2.
Is 2.4 seconds.
But notably, Raikkonen managed to pass Massa. Bottas managed to set the fastest lap of the race, which was quite annoying because I thought, oh, surely we can get a purple lap here in a pink Panther. But as I can tell you now, it wasn't meant to be.
Is 11.0 seconds.
So, obviously we're not contesting for a victory as it stands right now. Our car's just slightly too slow. Possibly there is good in the wet, as it is in real life, but it just isn't quite championship quality in the wet. But that's just the way it is. As you've noticed, there's yellows behind us, and as you'll see, Kimi Raikkonen is out of the race, which is quite remarkable. See, he's got him pretty close a minute, and it looks like he was going to go for a move at any time around that, and he just suddenly retired.
3.1 seconds.
So, which was close enough. Anyway, 3.1 seconds behind Verstappen. As I fiddle through the race engineer commands.
But if I were you, I'd come in and change tyres. I'm just not sure we're on the right ones for the conditions anymore.
As I say, looking for confirmation of a tyre change, and I told the engineer, you know what, let's box at the end of this lap, because I was like, I could feel it. The grip was just starting to ebb away. It was like when you're on intermediate tyres and the track goes to an emulsive stage, it felt a bit like that. So I thought, you know what, we haven't got anything to lose. It's our debut race. Let's take a punt. Although I'd love to know, Jeff, what mistake did I make? Is it coming in? Was it the fact that I went a little bit slower? No. Maybe that's the game just glitching out a bit, isn't it? The manual pit stop, we seem to do alright with that. Managed to pull the clutch, not pull the clutch in, let the clutch go at the right time. So that was all well and dandy. I think somebody else behind us also took the gamble for meters, or my very much mistake. Oh, Jeff, you talk so much. I'm going to have to deactivate it for future races because it is quite annoying. But anyway, we had quite a rapid outlap as we take Fernando Alonso pretty easily. Set a purple middle sector despite the fact we overtook the McLaren Honda. This was telling us we seem to have made the right decision, but if you went offline, I'm telling you, the channel is literally tricky and icy pretty much. That's just the way it was. As you can see now, some of the field started to come in now. Despite the fact we're in P15, we're not in a very bad position after all. We've got a few coming in. I've noticed, and as you will see with this, not everyone just piles in at the same time to change tyres on this game anymore. There's quite a few variations around the crossover. So some of the AI will get it wrong, but we seem to have got it right. So we tried to overtake Carlos Sainz Jr. and we eventually managed to overtake him into turn 3, despite the fact he had broke us, but we managed to release the brake and force ourselves on the inside. So that's lovely jubbly, making us P11. And we caught up to the points pretty quickly as we see our teammates and others pit. And we've got Roman Grosjean very quickly as well at the back of that queue. Esteban is in the pits, yes indeed. And we get our positions, but we noticed one thing. We managed to undercut Hamilton. We got a 7-lap undercut. And we could see Verstappen. He was only 3 or 4 seconds ahead of us when we made our stop. But now look, it's in Grosjean's slipstream. So we need to get rid of Grosjean very quickly. But as you can see, that's something we managed to do pretty swiftly, pretty quickly. The intermediates clear the right tyre now, and the fullbacks clearly are not the tyre of choice anymore, but perhaps Grosjean was trying to extend his wet tyre stint, so he would only have to make another intermediate stop. They are perhaps maybe tentative about tyre wear.
Is 2.1 seconds.
As Steve Verstappen was pulling away quite rapidly, but I was like, a few reservations about what was going on. So I was like, maybe I will need to pick printers. Yeah, I've got Nico Hulkenberg just randomly parked on the outside of turn 1 at the beginning of turn 2 for whatever reason, who knows. He had quite a slow race because he would pair up later, as I'll just show you. But yeah, we're just rattling through the laps now. Hamilton was catching from behind, but there wasn't really a lot going on. Otherwise, alright, I made this mistake and I allowed Hamilton to get back to us. But not a lot was really going on in the race. But there is now, as Hamilton is trying to get past us as he goes in, out, and into the slipstream of us, and he tags us, he tags us. And miraculously, there is no damage, or on our car anyway. We managed to survive for another day, and we're down to P5. And I thought after that, it was going to be.
It is 2.2 seconds.
Thanks. As you can see, the gap was expanding quite quick, so I was just thinking, I appear to have Massa covered. I was just like, you know what, this is just going to be a case of bringing it home and getting a nice 10 points on our debut race. But that wasn't meant to be, as the AI started to pit yet again. Don't forget, I was the very first one to go to intermediates yet. Guys who pitted several laps later than us are thinking of going into, which I found quite fascinating. And as you can see, that Stoffel Van Dorn was out of the race. We just see him there, parked up. McLaren Honda problems. What can I say? Another reason why Nando's leaving, but yes. On our one intermediates, we were losing quite a lot of time to Hamilton behind us. He was 10 seconds behind at one point, but I think at this point he was on like 8 or 9. As you see, our tyres have clearly past their best. We got earlier on in the wear range as Hulkenberg impedes us as we go towards turn 1. Yeah, you get more wear impeding for the wear rather than 2016. Only your tyres dead a bit slow, but that's just the way it is. Anyway, Hulkenberg not helping our cause that, and he was very slow to get out of the way to go back a lap down, which was quite annoying, but gracefully in turn 3, he lets us go. His brake discs have just noticed they were glowing, so perhaps he had a brake problem that was causing him to constantly overdrive corners, well not overdrive, go too deep in corners. The fact is that on fresh tyres though, he was quite annoying. He even managed to try and overtake us into turn 9. What can I say? And that allowed Hamilton to get closer to us, but obviously as you just saw there, Hulkenberg bolts him and they gave us a bit of space. Ooh, wow, this quantity is going quick. We're on the anti-penultimate lap, which is quite interesting in itself. Anyway, on the penultimate lap now, and Hamilton has managed to catch us yet again. It's hard to believe that we're battling for a podium here. That's almost gone unnoticed. Sorry, I should have really picked that up. This isn't going too smashing, is it? But anyway, we enter the final lap with Hamilton right on our tail. We were struggling to put the pad on corners, and of course the track was drying even further, so fresh intermediates was the call of the day at this point. We still managed to keep Hamilton behind us into turn 3. No idea why. Go through 4. The one thing we managed to do though is we managed to straighten off corners pretty well, and we were getting good traction, so it's enabling us to keep Hamilton behind despite the fact that he's got a car advantage.
We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
Of course we can't, but we managed to save enough fuel to be able to use Richard towards the end of the race, and shock! An absolute huge shock there. Sebastian Vettel is at the race. He was leading the race, and he's retired in the last lap. That's huge news. Positive for the title fight, but also just the leader of the race retired in the last lap. I believe the last time that actually happened in real F1 was the 2001 Spanish Grand Prix when Mika Häkkinen's clutch failed, and he was leading by a tsunami then. I don't know how comfortable Vettel was leading, but that has got to be a gutsy moment for the German. But anyway, that's promoted us to P2. I wasn't expecting it to be second, as Bottas managed to win the Australian Grand Prix and his debut victory in this career mode universe. But we still got Lewis Hamilton to fend off as we go into the penultimate corner of the race. We actually managed to spot our brakes perfectly. We take a good, nice, tight, clean line as we slide all the way through the last corner. As we head down towards the start-finish line, it is second in the Force India. Unbelievable performance.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
We had a bit of luck there with Raikkonen and Vettel retiring, but wow.
A great win then for the Mercedes team today. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here. So as I
Nothing to
say
say.
that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix.
That is true, but well, let's just say it was slightly gifted, that one. Not that anyone would ever object to that, of course they wouldn't, but wow. Yeah, second place. I was a little bit surprised though, because I was thinking that getting points would be a good start, but second.
And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Valtteri Bottas takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after an excellent result. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
Lots of drivers impressed me today, Crofty, but I'd say the one who impressed me the most was Daniel Ricciardo.
On to the constructors then. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Absolutely, Ricciardo seemed to make up a lot of positions there, so that's a fair comment for driver of the day. But second in constructors, second in the drivers. But I didn't think I'd be saying this early in the career mode, or any time in the first season, to be fair, but that's just the way it is sometimes. Anyway, get some nice little resource points there to develop our beastly pink Panther machine. There's really a lot to say. The car felt good all race, it has to be said. It felt solid, it felt predictable, and in the wet, it was just doing what it needed to do. I mean, obviously it was a bit sketchy in those qualifying laps, but you'd expect that. Anyway, our rivalry, we're now leading 6-3. We gained a point overall, a knock-on, and our standing in the team is going up even further because we managed to smash the session goal, because obviously coming second, when we were trying to beat ninth, and obviously we beat the future. So if we can beat the future, we will be the super future. So yes. Anyway, the career score now, which I have no idea what this means. What does it mean? I'm good? Does it mean I'm bad? I have no idea. It's never quite makes sense to me ever since they introduced it at the beginning of 2016, but hey, what can you say? What can you do? Anyway, it's Jonathan time with his cars.
Is this the one?
Indeed it is. And this is Jonathan. He's going to let you drive some of his cars.
Well,
Oh, generous.
not quite my cars, per se. It's a mere detail. You know, I'd really rather be down there racing them myself, to be honest. I'm actually quite handy behind the wheel, but it's the downforce, those lateral G's, you know? The old neck can't really handle it. So I need a pro. And that's where you come in. We run in a bunch of events throughout the year. Time trials, races, all sorts. And I have it on good authority that you have the ability and temperament to do well in these. Make our business look good and, most importantly, bring the cars back in one piece. So consider this a formal invitation. I'll see you at the track.
See you too, matey. See you too.
Now, I'd just like to step into my office. I'd like to go over those contract revisions we discussed on the phone.
Anyway, that's the end of the video, guys. I shall leave you with the pursuit challenge, which I decided to do at Japan. I shall see you next time. It's been a pleasure. Goodbye.
into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true.